Okay, and welcome to this video. So we decided to create this video as it's been a little bit difficult due to how busy people are and time zones and stuff like that to actually find time to join or to do some processing so that we all know exactly what to do. It is a guide, so of course there can be variations, and I have what I say as well, depending on kind of the ping pong I get from the person joining and the age and stuff like that. Some people will be okay to joke around with. The younger crowd, like 13-year-olds, I'm very careful. So try and, see if you can figure out exactly, what works best for you depending on the age and what type of person it is that joins. So you see I have here on the screen, I have Discord up in the channel, on the screen. But of course, there is the processing guide here. You can have a look at. It's a guide. For example, I do not always do it in this specific order, and I'll tell you why along the way. So sometimes during this processing, I'm going to show you, I'm going to explain to you why I do what I do. And it is just as a guide and, to try and make you feel more comfortable about getting started with doing processing. Okay, so we will have a dummy account jumping in the server here any minute now. There we go. Okay. So he joins in here. I will first have a look down in here, see if anybody else is writing, because I don't want to, step in and take over if somebody's already started it. But if somebody's writing down there, just hang on for a second, check what they're writing. They might be writing that they're busy, but that somebody will be with the new person joining as soon as possible. But yeah, you don't know what they're gonna write. So just hold on for a second and see what they're writing. They might actually just have fat fingers and be pushing buttons, something like that. Stop it. All right, it's a Holistics dummy account here. All right, so what I would do here, I would say hi there, but you can write it how you want, and of course tag the person, because otherwise, for example, if it's some people might not have notifications turned on at all for the servers, but I think they do still get notifications if you tag their name. I'm actually not sure of it. I just do it for safety because I don't know that much about notifications on Discord. And then I ask if they have time for chat. So that's about it. Then I'll wait for a response. Of course, I do not sit around for several hours. I'll tell them to jump in processing 1. So of course I'll jump in there and wait for them to jump in here as well. Some of them just leave as soon as I ask them for it. There's nothing to do about that. But just hang on and see if they join it in. So yeah, there we go. Hey, Holistic.
Hello.
So when they come in here, I'd say welcome to Hive, and that I have a few questions to ask them. So the first thing I'm gonna need to know is your age.
23.
23. So that means they're a regular member, they're not a youth member. Holistic, I can hear myself here. So yeah, since he's 23, which is a big fat lie, I would of course tell him that the reason I asked is because we have youth members which is below 15, and we do not take members under the age of 13, just in case they're wondering why I asked their age. If it's somebody where I can feel like, okay, we can joke around a little bit here, I'm gonna say it's not because I'm a creep, it's just because, and then of course tell them why. So it's kind of like, again, depending on what person that comes in. If it is a 13-year-old coming in, I will, of course, not joke around in the same way as I would with the older crowd that more, is probably more secure with themselves. So the next thing I'm going to do is I asked if they read the rules. So have you read the rules? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I've read the rules.
All right. If they do answer no, I'm quickly just going to go over it. No religion, no sex, no politics, because, we're trying to keep it, a war-free zone. And then it's about not harassing anyone and, of course, being a decent human being, not doing anything illegal and stuff like that. And then I start telling them about the rest of the server, almost. I'll just ask them for the rules first. So I'll ask them, and I'll pop up with this here to assign the rules right away. I'll ask them if they play on Switch, PlayStation, PC, or Xbox. And I will give them the rules for the games they're choosing. I do that because it's rather quick, and for example, if they do, say, Call of Duty or Apex or something like that, they'll have the special channels, and I can introduce them to that right away, why those channels are there. And you can wait. If you don't feel like you have control over the situation and the person joining, you can wait assigning them with the member access and squad up access. I do, however, sign them up right away, but I do tell them to please wait writing anywhere until we've gone through this, and it will only take a few minutes, and I'll do an introduction for them, so if they could hesitate with writing anywhere, because yeah, so they'll get a warm welcome and not people thinking, who are you? So yeah. And then I start going through the channels. So the first thing I'm going to go through is I'm going to say, okay, of course you have the rules channel that you've been reading. Then we have the chain of command. In the chain of command, you'll see who's in charge of what departments. For example, we have our streaming department. So if you are a streamer and you're looking to join the streaming department, you can in chain of command see who's in charge and who you can send a private message, or you can just ping the department, and they'll help sort you out in how to join the department and get well into the streaming department. I'm sorry, I'm tripping over my own tongue here, because it's a bit weird that it's being recorded and it's not an actual person I'm processing. Then I'll tell them that of course it's the links. That's a link to Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and a Minecraft server. And I tell them about the self-roll channel. For the self-roll channel, I tell them to please keep updated with what games they play at the moment. They can in there remove and add what games they're playing and what platforms they're playing on. I'll tell them that we quite often use pings to look for players. So it's just to make sure that they get the pings that's relevant for them and not get pinged for a game they didn't play for the last 3 years or something like that. Then I go down to the feedback. I tell them that if there's something they think we could do better, something they feel like it's missing in the server or something like that, or for example a gaming role, please leave it in feedback. I do, however, advise them to mute the channel, as they'll get notifications when anybody is writing in there, but that they won't be able to see the chat history and therefore can't clear these notifications. Then I jump down to the community channel and tell them that's our main chat channel. Content is for everything that has a picture or videos. So that would be if they're sharing streaming links, it's for GIFs, it's for pictures, small clips, stuff like that. Everything there goes in there. And then I tell them that Chillax is our main voice channel, where we can talk about everything and just hang around. And then I go down to the squad up. So in Squad Up, I would tell them that, for example, if they play Fortnite, they would need to go in all games for that because it doesn't have its own channel. So what they need to do is write, if they're looking for players, is write anybody want to play and then tag or ping the Fortnite role. And I'll tell them that they need to ping them simply because half the community is in Xbox or PlayStation, and they'll only get the notifications on front of their phone if they are being pinged for it. So people might not know they're looking for players if they don't get pinged. And then if they do play Apex or Call of Duty, I'll tell them that they have their own channel simply because there is that many players about it, and as well with Call of Duty because of the competitive team having a lot of competitive talk going on in there, especially lately because of the competition tryouts, competitive tryouts. Sorry. I kind of skip these because they're basically not really used. And then I tell them that we, of course, have the Squad Up voice channels as well. So if they don't want to hear about puppies, babies, weather, lockdowns, stuff like that, if they're playing something with a group of friends and they just want to, or a group of people in here, and just want to, concentrate about the game and don't want somebody suddenly jumping in there singing or something like that, I advise them to go down into those channels since it's people know they're concentrated about the game and not talking about whatever in there. And then I tell them that if they do experience having any problems with any other Hive members, if they feel harassed or if they have a fallout with anyone, please don't hesitate to reach out to senior staff, as we'll do our best to resolve the issue, because we want it to be a nice and friendly place, of course, in here, and sometimes it just happens, and we'll try our best to help fix it. Then I ask them if they have any questions. Usually they don't. And then I tell them that there's just a few things left to do, and it is, of course, that put Hive in front of their name. And I ask them if they want to keep their name or have it changed into something else. Most people choose to keep it, but a few has actually asked to have it changed or have some of it changed. And then I tell them that I'm going to remove their newbie role now when I change the name, because otherwise they'll get notifications every time that I harass. That's again, if I'm joking with them, let's say harass. But any of the other new people in the server, trying to get them into to be processed instead of just hanging around in a welcome channel. So I removed the newbie role, and then I tell them I'm just going to go into the community channel and write that they're here, give them a welcome, and write that so everybody in the server actually can see that they're new and joined. And then I say thank you for that, for joining, and welcome to Hive, and have a great evening, depending on what time of day it is. If it is a youth member I get in, I will tell them why they are a youth member. Not why they're youth member, but what the difference is. I'll tell them that youth members have 2 extra voice channels for them. Since I'm SRS, I have access to all the channels, so you can not everybody can see them. But let me just see, they're here, and members have access to 2 other channels, and it is because, for example, it's not everything people, the young ones want to discuss in front of like 40-year-old. For example, if there's some members going through some rough times job-wise, or with their partner, something like that, that's not something really to discuss in front of 13-year-olds. So that's the difference. And of course, to let us know when they turn 16, so we can get them up to be, or get them changed into being members instead of youth members. And of course, tell them that several of the voice channels are for both members and youth members, so they don't have to fear that they won't be able to play with those people they usually play with if they're below 16. Now I see I got a new mention here. Oh, somebody new joining. I'll have to deal with that in a second. But that is basically it. That's what I do for processing. You can do it a bit differently, but the main thing is that you make sure that you do get through, for example, the rules, the age, and kind of introduce them to the server, because otherwise it can seem pretty overwhelming. And of course, most important as well, to assign the right roles for them and bid them welcome to the server, so they're not just dumped in here without, it can be harder to start a conversation when you're brand new, compared to if somebody say welcome to you and you say thank you and stuff like that. It's easier to get into a conversation with new people, so I recommend doing that. So that's basically it, and I hope this video has helped you to feel like you're better prepared for starting to do processing. If you do have any questions, just try and grab a hold of either me or Holistic, and we'll try our best to answer your questions and get you well into this, because there's, process is kind of needed to make sure that they keep being members. So thank you for watching.